What's going on, people? You're locked into the Air Max 90s podcast. I'm here with a couple of my lads, a couple of the man them. D Gali, what's going on?
What's going on, bro? Penzel Washington, Obama, Martin Luther, Van Josh Jackson, 5 to first. You dig? Come on.
Okay. I'll just go with D Gali, but okay, it's fine. I'm joking.
Listen,
what's going on on that?
I'm well known.
I don't know, bro. What's happening?
What you say, bro?
Oh, imagine I thought you were talking to Gully. Yo, I was just saying, what's happening? What one? People them.
Here. Shouts out to me.
Hashtag fan base.
We say hashtag. Alright, shouts out to me. Couldn't be here.
Let's get straight in.
Get straight in, yeah?
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it.
You live, baby.
He's ready, isn't he? He's ready. Alright.
Warm.
So we're gonna speak about obviously the hottest topic at the moment, the Shots Fired DVD. Did everyone watch it?
Yeah,
I watched it.
We watched it as well.
It should have secretly gone.
I watched it 1.5 times.
1.5 times. Okay, cool. Enjoyed it then, yeah.
I don't need to see the little nasty aspect of it twice,
Bruv.
All right, we'll get onto it. But obviously, for those who don't know, the Shots Fired DVD, which probably should have been called the Chipmunk Rise and Fall, but it was a DVD that was centered around Chipmunk and some of the iconic battles that he's come across, from the subliminal battles with Tiny to the outright war dubs with Bugsy Malone and Young'un. Again, react. Nat, what did you think?
In terms of the DVD, in terms of the whole production of it, it was good. It was good in terms of the people they had on it. Like obviously they have popular people right now, etc. But how it was put out, I think it should have been changed in terms of the naming as well, all of that stuff like that. Because it's basically a chipmunk documentary. It wasn't it's Chipmunk stealing everybody else, so it should have been named Chipmunk something. You get me, at least. But on the whole, it was all right. I revisited a couple old school things that man used to watch and stuff like that. So it's kind of nostalgic as well, man. Good.
Yeah, one thing I would say about the DVD, I really felt the nostalgia about it. Like, it actually took me back to that time.
Yeah.
Because obviously, I don't know, most people watching this were probably around at that time, but it was peppering. Like, I don't know if you remember how Twitter was. Like every day there was like a next thing coming. Yeah, and it kind of just made man remember how live that actually was at that time, especially when we was in the thick of the war dubs and that. But Gali, what was your thoughts?
Yeah.
I know you got a lot of thoughts on this. Your overall thoughts, let me say. I caught you at a bad time then. Yeah.
Set man up still. You had me sauced.
Go on, do your thing.
Nah, so overall, I felt as though all the beefs, they interweave in amongst one another. Yeah, there was always like a reason why one thing spilled into what became the next thing. And to be fair, that saga of beef is interesting and historical enough to be captured in the way it was. So I think it's a great concept that they did. But the thing is, there's no way to capture all of this, like you man said, without Chipmunk being the centerpiece, because he is the one constant throughout all of it. I don't think they did him a disservice though. I think that they definitely drew the conclusion that ultimately, in a battle sense, he didn't lose anything. Some gained more than others, but he did not lose. And they put that across at the end of the day. I don't know I don't know. I wish I knew what it was that he took offence to, because his statement via his management was
We'll get onto that.
extremely vague.
We'll get onto that. We'll get onto that in more details a little bit later. But obviously, we're
yeah,
just talking mainly about, like, right now is the actual kind of DVD, the way constructed. And obviously, what you said made a lot of sense to me in regards to the chronology of it. Like, the way that they did it, it made sense because that's actually how it happened, for one. And it wouldn't have really made sense to bounce around, really, when the way it happened is just too perfect. It's like if you did a film, that's how it would have gone. Like, you had the subliminal, the jabs, the rise and fall, and then you've got like I don't want to call him desperate because he's not desperate, but you had that guy that's now no, but you know what I mean, not in a desperate, it's like you have a man that's actually now thinking, what, so you think I'm out? And he's swinging for he's literally like it's
he went on a mercenary thing.
It's round 12.
He went on a proper mercenary thing. Like,
a mad thing. It's round 12. He was winning the first 8 rounds. Last 2 rounds, he's got punched up a bit, and now he's just swinging for the fences. And it's like, I feel like Chip really just showed. They showed him in a good light. They showed that really he's war tested, and ultimately,
always war ready.
Done, regardless of what he done, regardless of the route that he took to get where he got to, him and his pen is unrivaled in that sense. Like, go toe to toe anyway. And I think that was shown. I was gonna ask, and I'll go to Gully now as well. I was gonna ask, what do you think? Because obviously a big part of it was the whole Chipmunk and Tiny situation, and obviously we spoke about it a little bit out of things. It's like, how do you think that was portrayed, and what do you think? Like, how do you think the dynamic between them two was portrayed, and what do you think the real issue kind of stemmed from? Without obviously us knowing fully, but you know what I mean.
I think it was portrayed. I think that their issue was portrayed as well as it could without taking bias, because I don't feel that the documentary favoured either him or Tiny when it discussed that part. I think that the opinions of people like Margs and Chucky and whatnot, Lippy, I think that they quite accurate. I felt like they quite accurately reflect the voice of the people in terms of how the streets feel as that was going on. I think that where their issue stems from is the fact that, well, I can only base it on what Chipmunk said when he went on Charlie Sloth the first time, when he was talking about the fact that basically, you know, Chipmunk has got the flag, but he's not flying it properly, for lack of a better term. You get me? He's not representing the team properly. Like, he's kind of distancing himself away when he's in a position to do the most for it. That's what I took from Chipmunk's statement when he was on radio that day with Sloth.
The only thing, and I guess you could take that in both ways, and obviously just to give you a little bit of backdrop, because I know both of them relatively well. Obviously Tiny was on tour back in the day and stuff, and we just obviously just coming up through the grime thing and that anyway. Like, I knew there were certain little things that had maybe happened that weren't necessarily outright like he's going at man or he's doing a madness. Like, I remember when they were on tour, and I was saying to you, look, Tiny was Pass Out had just started to bubble. It's getting to become like the tune that it became. And he's on tour, but Chip didn't let him, that he weren't allowed to have a band, like a live band. He had to do it like on the one track. And little things like that, that's not like a big thing, but it might be a little bit like, why? Then you have like the Game Over tune where Chipmunk kind of sends, it's a slight, it's ever so slight, but if you're saying I'm the best, I was best newcomer time ago, and man's best newcomer, it's kind of like, it's not enough for you to really go at man, but it's like,
Those two events aren't as close together as we're commentating them?
They're
Yeah,
not far
that's
off.
true. Bro.
It's a space of maybe it's the space of a year or less. Like it's enough for it to be a thing where okay,
We're still relevant in man's
yeah,
mind.
it's
Yeah,
still
true.
relevant enough. Like it wasn't that far off. Because you got to remember, Pass Out blew up kind of like it was like whoa, and then all of the things started coming his way. And obviously, there's other little things that may have happened that I don't know. These are just events that I know personally that it was like okay. And obviously, I know there's been that little bit of a competitive rivalry from when they done the tune. Ironic, like the game, they were on some game tune and they were both on it. And there's just always been, and again, like one time when I did I Love Live and Chipmunk came, like I think SAS and G Fresh. I swear he was there. G Fresh was there and whatever. And that day, and he was like, and when we spoke, he was like, yeah, no, Tiny, to be fair, is making the best music right now. But watch when I come out with my next album. And you could, it wasn't like he said nothing disrespectful, but you could hear the competitive edge to what and I just feel like that's carried on up until they were both neck and neck and Tiny kind of soared away from him. And let's be real, nobody thought Tiny was going to be that guy. If anyone was going to be the guy, it was going to be Chip. And
yeah, true.
I think that also plays a part in what
naturally, well,
100%.
Naturally, I think that will play a part as well. You get me? Because you're thinking, especially when you're coming up together, like, and obviously how he was transcending. He's thinking, yeah, I'm gonna be that guy soon, and then out of nowhere, Donny just went, choo. So in your head, no matter what, especially at the spit, remember you're spitting by yourself as well. So naturally, you want to kind of go over or get to that level, or go over the level. You get me? So he definitely would have been on that. Coming back out with some serious project. Had to have been.
How do you think, I'll go to Gully as well, how do you think it was portrayed in regards to the whole success and failure? Like, how do you think that they depicted that in the DVD, like the highs and lows of almost how he was? Because I feel like that kind of felt like that was a big thing in the storyline of the documentary.
What, talking about the fact that the American experiment didn't work out, you mean?
Basically.
I don't think it was depicted with disrespect. I mean, at the end of the day, you've decided to tell a story that does have lows. There are lows, there are wins, and there are losses in that story. And at some point, if you're going to touch on the fact that he went to America and things did not, in the end, work out quite as expected, then you got to tell that.
It's true.
But I don't think they put any extra juice on it. I think they just kept it real. Like, generally, I feel like they kept it pretty real with this documentary, other than certain parts that we're going to get to.
And and obviously you spoke about the little nasty thing, but I don't know.
Are we going to get to that now?
That made me cry because, bro, obviously shouts out to Little Nasty, but let's keep.
He needs to reduce it, bro. He did not, fam. He did not cause no head, fam. Never. I remember them things that you did not do, bruv. No, sorry.
Yeah, my thing, and I even think they put the little hint of banter in it where it felt a little
at the end.
Crickets. When he said, I can't lie, I span him, but let's be real, everyone knew at that time it was Criminal and Chip. Like, no one weren't talking about Nasty. And that's no disrespect to my man. I don't really know him. Like,
no, it's not. Of course it's not.
Criminal and Chip they were neck and neck at a point, and it felt like it was a collision course. No one was talking about Nasty. That's just me. And I don't know no one.
No, that's big fact.
Do you know what? Yeah. Let me just get a bit closer for this one here still. Do you know what, yeah? I thought about this for a couple days, yeah? And I feel like that Little Nasty's part ultimately is a clout chase, if I'm honest, yeah?
100%. I feel that as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's a a massive clout. I feel like it's a no, but do you know what though? Is the thing, yeah? I wasn't the biggest listener of F Radio. Because to be honest with you, and it might sound crazy, but obviously that was the Movements thing, right? That was like the Movements radio concept, isn't it? But I was more following what Boy Better Know and Roll Deep were doing at the time. So if I'm really honest with you, man, I weren't really deep in F Radio. I kind of listened back to it later and then developed an appreciation for it. But my point is I'm not the biggest person of that knowledge for F Radio, so I can't recall the exact interaction he's talking about. That specific interaction may have happened though, where at one point, for one moment, in one set, he got the better of him in a set, and it didn't mean anything then, but because of who Chipmunk's gone on to be, it's a story you can tell. But in the grand scheme of things, it is a clout chase, because basically the fact that you can tell this story is what has kind of pulled you back from obscurity.
True. And another thing, so, he's brought a video as well today.
Yeah, so obviously he knows what he's doing. Like, let's be real. I don't blame him. It was definitely a back in my day moment, but do your thing, innit?
I'm not knocking it, but you know what though? Yeah, man, I'm not knocking it though.
Yeah, so, and obviously we kind of spoke a little bit about it before, but it kind of brings us nicely to the whole Chipmunk versus Link Up TV, where obviously you were saying that they didn't put him in a negative light, but obviously to give people a backdrop, if you don't know, Chipmunk had the documentary taken down based on copyright infringement. Allegedly, from his standpoint, he wasn't told, and when he found out about the DVD, he asked to see it, and he said obviously if he doesn't okay it, then they can't put it up.
Why are they gonna send it to you though, Chipmunk?
Yeah, see,
why are they going to send it to you though?
All right, go on, Gali, go on.
End of the day, yeah. If I'm Link Up, yeah. Look, yeah. You got the tune, you got the Young and tune taken down for copyright because he used Oopsie Daisy on the tune. So you got the whole disc taken down off Link Up channel. Now you want to watch this documentary and approve it before we release it. And like, if I'm Link Up TV, I know if I send that to you, you're gonna slice and dice it up. Start talking about take this out. I know you're gonna do that. And you know what? I haven't afforded that luxury to anyone else in the documentary.
But that doesn't mean that anyone else don't. That's up to them. But go on.
That's up to you, man. Listen, but if this was back in the days, and stuff, and they had done that, like, just say like 2000 or whatever, like, people probably wouldn't have had a problem. But the fact that it's this day and age now, people have got managers and all these things, man, want to see that, because I'm the person that's mainly on that thing there as well. I'm the main person on there. I want to see that, bruv. I'm sorry. And our relationship it's been frayed from before as well. So definitely I need to see that.
And
I feel like,
in terms of, sorry, Gali, let me just go. Like,
go through, bro.
My thing, and this is, and obviously I can see both sides, and that's why I kind of let both of you have a conversation, because I can see what, for the culture and the kind of the fan in me wants to just be like, come on, man, let's just put it out. It's good. Don't make you look bad. Just let the thing run. But I can see where he's coming from, because at the end of the day, they're not cool. Let's be honest. They don't have the best relationship. Maybe they don't hate each other, but they ain't friends at the moment. Or Link Up and Chip ain't besties. The documentary, let's be real, is basically a Chip documentary. It's a documentary on his rise and fall, effectively, and all the clashes that he's a part of. And at the end of the day, Link Up is a successful business right now. Link Up is not, it's not like a back alley. This is not like back in the day with some, like the old school DVDs where man are just trying a thing. They make thousands and thousands of pounds, and they're gonna make money off of his likeness. So it technically is copyright, bro.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if he's only asked to just see it first before you put it out, and then you've done the bully thing, and then you've done the bully thing of, I said if you don't see it, I don't want it to go out, and you just said I'll put it out anyway, and then you've done I ain't gonna lie, Chip's a bit sneaky for that on the thing. I can understand why he's saying, well, if you're not playing ball, why should I? I can see both sides.
Also, as well, yeah, this is what man needs to remember. If Chip's taken out of that documentary, there's no documentary. That's one person. If one or two of the other people are taken out, a documentary can still happen.
That's fact.
That's why I have to see it first. Thank you.
If Chip saw it and Chip took enough exception with things in it, we might have ended up without no documentary. Because like you said, if Chip ain't in it, ain't gonna happen. What they could have done, it could have been longer, and they could have done a bit more of a deeper. They could have done a bit more of a deeper dig on the other people who he beefed with. So it wasn't so much the story of Chipmunk. They could have digged deeper. For example, when they touch on Young'un, they could have got a couple interviews with a couple of people on Young'un's side of things at the time, and maybe got their insight as to why they feel as though Young'un. You get me? Ask Sneakbo what he thinks. Sneakbo was in the middle of that, not really in the middle of it, but end of the day, ain't it Sneakbo that got the he said you should nominate Sneakbo as well. So ask Sneakbo what he thinks then. Like what did Sneakbo feel when Chipmunk said that? How did Sneakbo feel? Did he appreciate the shout out? Did he feel like it was unnecessary? Who's ever asked him?
But then,
and especially because Sneakbo's got a lot of relevance now as well. Again, so it would have been good.
But then the thing is, they didn't, and this is what they could have done, and that might have made it a bit more well-rounded. But the way that the DVD is a Chipmunk DVD. It's a Chipmunk documentary. Sorry, it's a documentary that is centered.
No. That's not fair. It's a Chipmunk beef documentary.
Yeah, but it's a Chipmunk. It's what my exact words were. The documentary is centered around Chip. It's a Chipmunk documentary. It's centered around Chipmunk.
Yeah, but it's a Chipmunk beef documentary, though.
But whatever it is,
either way, it's still centered around him.
So if you don't, let's be real. If it was people that you don't really mess with, you don't hate them now, but you don't mess with them, and they've done a documentary about you, you don't know what it's about, and they're just putting it out, and you're saying, I need to see it before you put it out, and they're just like, well, man ain't letting you see it, man just putting it out. I don't think that if it was you, you would feel like you want them. Just they're putting it out, they're going to monetize from it, they're going to make money from it.
How does man know? How does man know that they didn't consult Chipmunk and them in the first place to let them know they're making it?
All we can go by is the statements.
Yeah, but the girl said I heard from him. The girl said I heard from him in months. She said I heard from Rashid in months.
Yeah, because I swear they contacted each other first. They must have something.
So they knew it was happening, Mess.
But then still, man still want to know what's going on right now. Then after a couple months down the line, man want to know what's going on. What have you been filming?
And it's a difference between by the way, we've got this project in the works and then cool, like this, and we don't know what happened in those conversations. But the next thing is promo. It's like, well, you've not even consulted me. You're promoing it. My face is in all the promo. All of my stuff's in the promo, but I haven't said I don't know anything about it. Like, I know about it, but I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how I'm portrayed. Anything.
Yeah.
I think that he has a right to at least have seen it. I don't, like I said, the fan in me is just like, Chip, allow it. Just let them run it and let it come out. And I'm glad, let's be honest, I'm kind of glad there's bootlegs of it. I'm glad that. That's just me being a fan. That's keeping it.
They will not die. They will not die.
They will not. And
Never.
the documentary is sick. And what I think it will do, it was allow Link Up to do more documentaries like this.
Yeah.
You see, it's a positive, and they did it sick. I'm not taking nothing away from them in that, but I
it was excellent.
The animations, the little comedy thing when he's banging on the bongo with the girl twerking in the background car.
Maybe that's what he didn't like.
Possibly, but this is what I mean. But I just think from a business standpoint, like I can't take away from the fact that Link Up is a successful business and Chipmunk is a successful brand, and we can't like pick and choose when we're gonna be professional business and when we're gonna just be man them that's just doing our thing. Like they are successful. I rate Rashid mad at all of them because they've made a successful business out of nothing. But at the same time, they tried to do a little, we're putting it out anyway, F it. And he said, well, no, that's copyright infringement. Like I can get both sides, innit? I can get it. But we could talk about that to the wheels fall off.
Nah, I think that there's something to be said for this, man, because I don't feel like everybody, and you know what, Mess, you of all people might know, I don't feel like everybody was getting a preview of Risky Roads. I don't feel like everyone's getting preview on Southern Hospitality, Streets Incarcerated.
But think about when that was, and think about what the
that was way back when, cuzzy.
But if people did, there's every chance those DVDs don't even come out.
100%.
And to someone like Chipmunk, DVDs of that nature, your Risky Roads and that's the holy grail to him.
Yeah, but remember as well, also what man's got to remember, but remember, them times there, like Risky Roads or DVD times, yeah, that was before Ben Man were proper artists and stuff. Remember, man are artists now, man's got managers and these things, man's got stuff they need to be handling properly. So man can't be moving unprofessionally like that. Nah, I'm sorry, it's 2020, mate.
And also, what you got to also remember, they're not breaking him off no peas as well. That's another thing that you could. He's not gonna get paid from it. So that's another thing that comes into play. How do you know Chipmunk didn't have a DVD in the works that he wanted to do about this very topic?
Why couldn't they just give him a 10%?
We don't know. But they may have, but this is what I mean. He may have said, I want 10%, and they may have said no. We don't know, innit? But I'm just saying that when they're at this stage, what you're talking about.
That's true.
What you're talking about is a time when everything was organic and man are just trying to pass and do our thing. We've now got to 2020 where this is a viable
business side of it,
off of this industry. I just don't think that they can do, oh, well, come on, this is the love of the sport, and they're going to make money and he's not potentially off of it. I can understand why he would say, well, you can't make money off of my name, off of my brand, and I don't make any money off of it. This is not like, I get that. I get both. That's what I'm saying. I get both sides. And I get that at the end of the day, they've come with an idea to do this. And he may have not been thinking of this idea. And it's like, work with us to make history for the scene, to document the scene and make the scene a better, like a thing that people look at and say, do you know what? This weren't just people jumping around. There was history, there's everything. And I get it. I get both sides. That's why it's a tricky one. But we could probably talk about this till we're blue in the face. But what I wanted to talk about as well, and obviously this is like Chipmunk overload, but it's, and the doctor talks about it a lot in regards to the whole chronology, the whole kind of lineage or the chronology of his career. And I remember me and you, Gully, talking about this as well in the last one a little bit, in the last episode. Like, do you think Chip has underachieved in his career? Because it's, I'll be honest, I felt like I'm torn when I even think about this, because personally, I think it's hard to say that he has, given the career he's had. But at the same time, I could have seen him be bigger. So it's like, is it underachievement, or is it just he could have gone to the moon, but like that doesn't mean he underachieved by being like in the stars, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy. It's a great analogy.
What's your Gali?
I feel like he smashed it. I feel like, listen, man, Chipmunk's a victim of timing, man. He's a victim of timing. That's all it is, man. If he'd have come around 3 years later, he could have been talking all his stuff and been cutting through. It was timing, man. But who was to know, innit? End of the day, he's done good. I hate to stray from the question, but I just want to say, like, I think he's done an excellent job of preserving himself or bringing himself back to life. You get me? I think for all the issues he might take with that Beef DVD, that Beef gave him a rebirth at the end of the day. He ain't looked back since.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. What was you gonna say, Nat? I know you was gonna say something.
In terms of like, it's mad because I think about this as well. 'Cause you know, like when he came out from America as well, and then obviously, but you know what, his longevity alone, bro. His longevity is crazy, bro. When you think about where he's been from the start, yeah, and he's still quite not young, but like, he's not old, fam. But he's long, but he's still bringing out stupid tunes. Like his bars are just still crazy. But where he could have went to may have like see this later stage in his career, like now, where the last 3 or 4 years where he's just been dropping bangers after bangers. If he would have went to the Moonlight Man saying, I don't know if he may be doing this sort of thing like now, if that makes sense. He may be on a slightly different path, where man not rated him as such in terms of his bars now or whatever. But I don't think I could ever say he's failed. Nah.
And the thing is,
go through, brother. Go through, my bro.
I was gonna say the thing with Chip as well, and that's a good point that I never really thought about, is he could have, if he was more successful in America and he didn't like quote unquote flop in America, he may have and he had success there, maybe not like, I don't know, Drake's success, but good success there, and then he comes. He might not even have been as hungry as he was, and that
he might not be hungry again for it. Like.
Exactly, and that hunger's kind of preserved him up till now. You got to remember, he still did Insomnia like a month ago, and he's got like a top 3 album with Young Adz and Skepta just the other day, and he's still he's hungrier and hungrier, and he's still doing his thing. And one thing I would say, and it's like you said about he's a victim of time. He, for whatever reason, I don't know why he got the corny tag or the oopsie daisy tag we act like everybody didn't do exactly the same thing. Like Skepta didn't do Rolex Sweet, Wiley didn't do Wearing My Rolex, Ghetto didn't do Sing For Me. Like everybody was
Wearing My Rolex. Wearing My Rolex don't deserve to even get put in that side of life.
Okay.
Rolex Sweet with Skepta dressed up like Michael Jackson doing the Queen Vic.
Okay.
That deserves a mention.
But the reason why
Gets doing the Gracious K, that deserves a mention.
But the reason
Sing For Me, yeah, that deserves a mention.
The reason why I say Wearing My Rolex, because if you listen to how Wiley talks about his love for grime and everyone straying for grime is a madman, Wearing My Rolex is not grime. So what I'm not saying, I'm not talking about success or not, because that tune was very successful.
But that's not a tune. No, but that's not a sell your soul. Wearing My Rolex ain't a sell soul.
But it is if you're dying on the grime stick. It's not a sell your soul, but it's definitely a different genre. It's not grime, is it? So what I'm saying is, but my point is,
I hear you.
My point is just that for whatever reason, Chipmunk has got you sold out, you was a corny boy, when everybody at that time was doing exactly the same thing. He was just successful. And it's like, for whatever reason, he hasn't been able to let that tag go when everyone else has kind of swept it under the rug and forgot. Like, Skepta put his hoodie back on and said that's not me, and everybody forgot about all of those. I can end up gonna day the best night of my life. Like he was doing a lot of them tunes, like
Oh,
Green Light, So Deep, like everyone
Man
was.
thought, at one point, man thought he was gonna join Arctic Monkeys or something.
Bro,
it
was getting, and I'm not saying that he's even bad. The thing is, I'm not.
But I like them tunes. Nah, man. You know them sound bites always sound so sinister. You get me? I kind of did like them tunes a bit.
Bro, I'm not saying.
That's why they call me a bad boy. You get me?
All right, brother, I'm gonna tell me what it is about Oopsie Daisy though, yeah? It's how it sounds. It sounds all. That's why people used to banter it. You see, because it sounds all like oopsie, like it sounds nuts. Nothing sounds nuts, but
I know
I'm trying to think
He
of the word.
didn't even stay in that zone for long. That's what's bad, man.
That's the mad thing. But obviously,
That is what is bad, man. How long was he in the corny zone? 3 tunes. That's bad, man.
He had a couple, and that's the thing. I feel like it wasn't as bad as people try to make out, man.
No, they're milking it still. Man's milking it.
That's bad, man, fam. Hey, no, that's bad, man. But you know what, yeah? You know what? Here's the part we're not gonna skip. Here's the part we are not gonna skip. It is, in my opinion, D Gully, the Honourable, yeah, that as many people look at that. Right, as many people got onto man and said, "Oh, you make pop tart music, blah blah blah." As many people that had that to say, there was a lot of people just happy to see the man them coming from the hood and doing the madness
100%.
and doing number ones or whatever. Yeah?
100%.
I lie.
That's true, bro, 100%.
Yeah? There's a lot of people who, you know, because So Solid, it had been years since we'd done that madness.
Mm-hmm.
So to see this little flurry, it weren't even one man, like, where a man had a couple, it was sick.
Tiny, all in a
like
back.
Man was happy to see them winning. Do you know who wasn't happy to see them winning?
The industry.
All the rappers who weren't cutting true. They were not happy.
Facts.
They were criticizing.
Facts.
That's true.
That's their narrative.
And
I was happy just to see them doing a thing.
And if we're keeping it all the way true, all of them would have done the same thing. They all say they wouldn't now, but all of them would have done the same thing. All of them would have done the whole, I gotta do this, because they were all trying it. This is the thing.
Yep.
Everybody made music that was a bit light. Everybody made music. Everybody tried to make some no
Everyone tried an electro tune. Everyone. And if it weren't that, it was a house.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? Dizzy made Bonkers, and that was it, mate. Like,
yeah.
I think
man said, "What? Man can do this shit?" No,
I think man must have heard about what bread he made off Bonkers and said, "Yeah, I'm in."
Yeah, I'm in. I want a bit of that, mate. And obviously,
no, big up Wiley. But before the Bossy buzz, yeah, there was definitely the Bonkers bread, yeah.
I like the little alliteration there. I see what you're trying to do. Hey, go on, do your spiel. Hey. He's still moving his shoulders. I can see. I keep telling him,
where were we?
Too big for them. You're too big for them. You gotta do the blend.
Did myself too big for that?
You're too big for that. You
sound too big for that dance.
You got the blench dancing. You're trying to do the. You gotta do the
shoulders only. He's doing too much.
He's saying that. Reduce.
Reduce.
All right, now on that note, let's wrap this up though. But final thoughts anyway. Final thoughts now.
Of what, the whole DVD or just the whole situation?
Of the whole situation.
Of the situation and the DVD. I think the DVD, I definitely think they have to do another one, because otherwise this one's gonna leave a bad taste in everybody's mouth, innit? Because a lot of people ain't seen it as well. I could tell enough people haven't seen it. Bare people message me saying, have you got links for it and stuff like that? I'm thinking, why you didn't watch it? It's too late now, but I think in the future, just don't go about it like that, man. It just doesn't make sense to you. No matter no matter how organic you're gonna think it's gonna come out because it's been with the people involved, just do all the stuff you need to do before, and then none of this will happen, and it'll just be smoother.
Gali?
In terms of Chip, I was playing Chip earlier, but Chip smashing tunes for fun, but his pen is crazy, fam. His pen is crazy, fam. Man, do not want to war with this guy at all, anytime at all. Nobody. It's not conducive to you. It's not conducive to nothing.
Yeah, Gali, what are you saying? Final thoughts?
Here's the thing, yeah. These are my thoughts, and here is the thing, yeah.
Final thoughts, not all your thoughts.
Yeah, because I know this is it. This is the last thing I can say now. This is it. All right. I got a point I want to make, but I just want to say first that I know Drake is going to be the exception to everything I'm about to say because he has mastered this as a part of what gives him his longevity, and it's a part of his formula. However, a lot of Drake's features do seem like he hops on them more than man go after him and get him on it. It seems like he takes a liking for it and blesses it more time, especially with a new act. So here's my point I'm going to make. Now. Before the streaming and that, and when it was when the industry was in its old-fashioned state, the gap between mainstream and underground at one point was wide, as we know, yeah? At one point, signing to a label just automatically, man, went bow, yeah? Obviously with now, a one ambush can put out a jumpy and it can go, and within one tune, you get me? He's now up there side by side with the top tier off just one rhythm. No deal, no nothing. My point is that you see a man like a Jay-Z, yeah? Music now might make it easy for a man to come out of nowhere, drop a hit, and get a T.I. on a rhythm. If you're from Atlanta, a T.I. might bless it, whatever. But you ain't getting Jay-Z still. Even now, still, no one ain't coming out with no one-hit wonder out of nowhere and Jay-Z's blessing that. Now, in England, right, the thing is, at one point, Chip was in the Jay-Z air, that Jay-Z Tiny Temper air, that Dizzy Rascal air. You understand? Yeah? So man can't get no Chipmunk feature willy-nilly. You understand? But the problem is, because that gap ain't wide no more, he doesn't seem as big no more. Like, because everybody's big now. So now he's just big with everybody, but he's got seniority because he's been here from time. But he's just big. Whereas Tiny's still Jay-Z big. Like Tiny's still like raw. Man got Tiny on it, you know? Like, so my thing is, when I think of Chip, I just feel like I'm feeling like, I still believe, I say all of that to say this. I don't think Chipmunk's been a disappointment to anyone or himself. I think he's had a blockbuster career, and I think he's still got all the talent and the skill and the marketability to still find himself back in that air up there.
That's true as well, bro.
Like, I don't think we've seen the highest of his high. I still think he can still go, man. Got years.
Yeah, I think, and obviously just for me, I think it's a good thing you said. I think time's on his side. He's what, 29. He's still young. He's had a lot. You got to remember, he's probably been known to people since he was, what, 15, 16. And I think ultimately, when you look at his career, and he's going to go down as top 3 probably all time in UK for me. When you look at his longevity, his ability, and his success, I think that he's going to be able, and he's war-tested and all of that, I think he's going to go down as one of the best of all time. Could he have been bigger? Possibly. I think he had the talent to go to the
time
height.
ain't up on him though.
I think he could have had he's got the talent to have gone anywhere. And I don't think, like you said, I don't think it's beyond him now. But I think ultimately he should be content with the fact that he's probably one of the best in the scene. He's probably got one of the best catalogues in the scene. And he has finally, and not to say finally, because I've always been there, but I think that he has the respect of people in a sense that say whatever you want about him, you can't deny his pen. And I think for him, that is one of the things that more than anything that he stands on. So I think ultimately he's a talented artist, and I think that, I think he's still got a lot to give. But we're gonna wrap that up now. Air Max 90s podcast. Shouts out to the man them Nat. Thanks for blessing us. You get me?
Of course, brother.
That Gully as always. Thank you, my bro. You get me? Tune in to the next episode. We keep it locked. Air Max 90s. We out. You like the way that I dance. You like the way that I move. See, like,
Hey, where's my grinder?